Live from the Export Beer Garden studios and brought to you by Export Ultra, the beer for here. This is the Agenda podcast for the 11th of Feb.
The Agenda Podcast, the home of sporting nonsense and claptrap. Brought to you by Export Ultra.
G'day, Jame McOnie.
Oh, kia ora, good morning, G Lane. Sorry, I was just replying to a text on a
From me?
terrible start. Yeah, from you.
me.
You far away?
You far away?
I'm sitting right beside you, I'm going to write.
Hey, big Bryan Adams fan?
Yeah. Oh, I'm aware of his work as
Not Ryan Adams, Bryan Adams.
Look, let's be honest. We all liked Bryan Adams at some point. Summer of 69. We all wanted a summer of 69, didn't we?
We did. Yeah,
100%. That was the main goal.
But have you heard the news out of Perth? His concert in Perth had to get called off because of a large blockage of fat, grease and rags in the sewage system caused it to flood and overflow, and they had to cancel it. So contingencies, including the use of sucker trucks, were considered, but the volume of wastewater generated by the capacity crowd of 16,000 people at the arena was considered too great. Is this the age demographic? What, going to Bryan Adams and emptying their bowels?
I mean,
and colostomy bags. That's probably what the rags are. I love the rags. What's that?
Everything I do a big poo, and it's clogging. Oh yeah. Anyway, we can kind of like Are we going to talk about Bryan Adams? I mean, that's all I've got is everything I do it for poo.
No, I thought it was just interesting. I thought it was just a nice, interesting story that a large blockage of fat, grease, and rags and poos forced the organisers to cancel the entire gig. So you didn't even make it on stage.
He performed in New Plymouth at Brooklyn's Bowl.
I heard he was great.
Yeah,
I heard he was great, but obviously a lot of nervous poos going on for his audience, and then by the time he was about to come on stage, it's too late.
I don't go to a concert to poo generally because if it's a Portaloo situation, you do feel vulnerable, you know.
Even stadium poos.
Yeah,
I don't understand stadium poos.
If you really needed to go, then you're trying to find the most sort of like quietest, friendly poo environment.
Yeah.
And when you're a guy like that's terrible, you know. Like there's no.
And these days, cubicles aren't used for pooing.
Yeah, people
are in there just like in pairs and stuff, doing stuff.
I must say, Bryan Adams, he was big in the 80s. I was at boarding school then, and I do remember he would have been on the banned list of artists you shouldn't listen to.
Really?
Yeah.
Like naughty? Like raunchy?
Uncool.
Oh. Okay, that explains it.
Sorry, G Lane. I was at boarding school, mate. This is what happens. If you listen to Billy Idol, uncool. You get beaten up for listening to
Billy Idol
him.
even?
Yeah, sorry.
No White Wedding?
No White Wedding. Hey, little sister, what have you done?
I thought that would have been acceptable.
Day for a white wedding.
What was cool then? GNR, Pantera.
Yeah, but GNR wasn't around. But yes, Iron Maiden, AC/DC, Black Sabbath, Led Zepp, they were all okay. Especially playing them backwards.
Pink Floyd.
If you played Pink Floyd was absolutely fine.
Yeah,
right in the wheelhouse.
The Who.
David Bowie was okay, and the Who was all right. Basically, any heavy metal was fine. Talking Heads was okay. So that's probably as arty as it got.
Fruity as it could get.
Yeah, Violent Femmes was fine. B-52s was okay.
What?
Because it was arty. There's an arty, and obviously any punk band, fine. But then as soon as you ventured into pop, shit, you better hide your ghetto blaster. People coming out with hammers and shit.
In your sleep.
Yeah. Oh, I hate this song. I don't like that song. It was like, you know, like I'm looking at the man in the mirror. Bang, 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 bang.
Soap in the bottom of a rugby sock.
Exactly.
Whack, whack.
What is that shit? Prince is an interesting one because I think it was an acknowledgement that he was kind of the sound of the moment. There was something cool about him. But because he could play guitar, you know.
Did you mention Bowie?
I said Bowie was okay.
Yeah, Icky's okay.
So Bowie was okay. So yeah, I mean you could have
Queen.
Queen was right on the line.
Okay.
So Queen was
that's
okay.
quite poppy, but then they got a couple of rocky songs.
Yeah, a couple of big songs, so you could get away with a bit of Queen.
Not I Want to Break Free. Probably not that one.
That came out right in the middle, and that confused a lot of the farm boys, eh?
Yep, especially.
They're like, I like Freddie Mercury. What's he doing?
What's he doing in a dress?
Yeah.
Doing vacuuming.
Meltdown.
Short circuit.
Malfunction. Freddie's in a dress. Smash cassettes.
Okay.
everything goes out the window. But yeah, that was pretty much so. Bryan Adams, no, he was
Definitely in the
massive wuss.
Definitely in the wuss corner.
Yeah.
Okay, yesterday, big afternoon at ACC HQ with the Super Bowl. We had a few people over and watched the Super Bowl in the iHeart Lounge, which renamed Uncle Bogsy's Diner. And in the end, the Eagles fly. They absolutely humped Mahomes.
Yeah,
and the Kansas City Chiefs.
They gave Mahomes an absolute pantsing. They pulled his pants down and they smacked his body and in front of everyone in New Orleans, which happens quite a bit, I think,
that's
there.
True.
So I didn't see much of the game, but I do believe that everybody hurts. Jalen Hurts sometimes was pretty good.
Yeah, he was. It was 27-0 at halftime or something. It was all over pretty much at halftime. And then, but my highlight is I witnessed my first live tush push. I've never heard it's called tush push, and I was sitting there with Mania Stewart and Joe Jury, and they're like, "Here comes a tush push," and I was like, "Oh, okay." And then it happened, and I was like, "All that is a truck and trailer rolling mall.
Totally,
it's a full truck and trailer."
And they give it to the skinny guy who they need to keep fit, which is kind of weird. They don't give it to a hooker like they do in rugby.
Yeah.
It's like, we can sacrifice you.
Yeah.
Your little, like a little Ricky Riccatelli, a little cannonball
at the back.
They give it to the guy whose arms are more important than anything else. Send him into the fray.
But there's no binding. That's why it's the truck and trailer. There's a lot of going for it, and then they go over.
Yeah.
But it's the most
offside piece of play.
It is like the most disappointing play you'll ever watch, because it's just a whole lot of massive dudes flopping over the line and then a skinny guy flopping on top of them.
Well, that there was Jordan Mailata, former South Sydney Rabbitoh, earning his money right in front there.
Yeah.
Paving the way.
I think is that one Mania said, one of the Kelsey brothers, the one that's retired. What's his name? Jason Kelsey, not Travis. But he said that the reason he retired is he couldn't do one more tush push.
I know. He was centre, so he's right in the middle.
Yeah, he just snapped your neck one more time.
Yeah.
So he retired from the tush push. But my multi came off, so I won $100. It was quite good, actually. So I was pretty happy about that. But apart from that, it was pretty one-sided. Jalen Hurts, it was all over Mahomes. People saying that Mahomes choked, but I don't think he choked, because watching that first quarter, they dropped so many chances, the Kansas City Chiefs, which was very unlike them.
Yeah, it's tough when your receivers don't, take the ball. It all comes back to the quarterback. But the weirdest thing about this entire sport is that there's 50-something players, and it all the focal point is the quarterback. Win, lose, or they don't really draw. But win or lose, it comes down to the quarterback. And I noticed that with old Patrick Mahomes, he's benefited from a lot of moments that you just go, right, that's really going to become, it changes history, because it changes the narrative. You watch those shows, everything's about Mahomes being a genius because of just one moment that might not have even included him.
Yeah.
It was just, he got the result, therefore Patrick Mahomes is challenging Tom Brady to be the GOAT, all that sort of stuff. Even though they've got stats galore, everything, it just all comes down on that one person. So he's had a lot of free rides or benefits, from that, and now he's got to take the heat, really.
Yeah.
So choke, he probably did.
Speaking of Tom Brady, he made his debut, his commentary Super Bowl debut. He is getting paid $350 million US on a 10-year deal to commentate. Potentially, they say he's making more money commentating than he was playing. And he looks like a cyborg on TV. I think he might have had some work done.
He's had that chin done, eh?
Yeah, there's something going on. There's some sort of... And it was quite good. One of the Super Bowl ads, he was a cyborg, and they shut him down and they switched him on again.
Oh, Seal was a Seal as well.
Yes.
Did Taika direct that ad?
There was some great ads, but also there was some real shit ones with some celebrities who you thought, like Drew Barrymore and Legolas of Lord of the Rings.
Oh, yeah.
What's his name?
Orlando Bloom?
Yes. They were advertising a cruise ship, and it was them just doing a whole lot of activities around a cruise ship. And the rest of them there's heaps of ones with like Matt Damon,
he's always there.
Taking the piss out of Ben Affleck and all that shit. And it's quite funny. David Beckham one's funny. But this one was a cruise ship.
I've never heard him called Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck?
Ben Affleck?
Ben Affleck.
Yeah. Ben Affleck.
Whatever, Ben Affleck.
It's like Genius Flex.
Anyway, it felt like Drew Barrymore and Legolas were the only two left on the roster. Like, who's available? And they got a big room. They went, oh, fuck, how about those two? Yep. And then, because everyone else seemed to have quite cool ads, and they had a shit one.
Yeah.
Absolute shit one.
I need to go and have a look at the ads. I was obsessed with the halftime show because of Kendrick Lamar, who I greatly admire, whether he was going to sing the diss track about Drake being a pedo, and in the end, it was like waiting, teasing to it. Is he going to say it? And then he went and did the old say Drake, and then looked at him looked down the camera and smiled and did his whole thing, and it finishes with this line. They didn't actually say pedophile. They sort of like went whoa or whatever, sort of didn't actually say the word, but it was finished with the old A minor, and you could hear the crowd sing along. And I was just thinking, how does Drake come back from that? Because that is a roasting on the biggest stage possible. Like, that's huge.
That's all right though. He was on tour in Australia. He's having a good time.
Okay,
Drake,
well,
yeah, he's down in Melbourne or something. He'd be drinking coffee and. But
Yeah.
the halftime show, we're going to have to say,
G Lane,
not as good as last year.
agreed. Who was
Rihanna was last year, going up and down on those Perspex platforms. And the year before that, it was Snoop Dogg and 50 Cent,
That was
Eminem.
great.
That was so. I didn't feel it. Didn't feel it. Just a lot of dancers.
Well, Rihanna was the year before. Who was last year? Usher.
Usher. Yes.
Yeah.
No. So I didn't. From the ones I've watched, probably the worst one.
I think as well.
In terms of spectacle.
Exactly. I mean, I love Kendrick Lamar. He's a poet. He's going to be quoted for centuries and all that sort of stuff. But I think that he's going to be, just in terms of carrying a show for a halftime show. Like, I actually send out a tweet, G Lane, if you will indulge me. I was tweeting or Xting or whatever you call it now. I was Xting last night.
Samuel L. Jackson was better.
Yeah, Samuel L. Jackson. Yeah. Can you explain for people who didn't see it what happened?
Well, he was dressed up in some sort of Uncle Sam outfit, who would do the intros between the songs, and just classic Samuel L. Jackson monologue. And it would just cut to him, and he'd have his little sexy Madonna mic on, dressed as Uncle Sam. So that's how he was involved in the halftime. But yeah, I don't know. I wanted a bit more of a spectacle. I wanted a bit more of a wow, but it was just him going up and down the stage to sing Drake.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And then Serena Williams turned up doing crip walking, and she dated Drake, if that's the reference. And he, according to my mate Ben Rothenberg, who's a tennis writer for the New York Times, he said that Drake used to follow her around like a puppy dog on tour. And then, there were allegations of stalking. He couldn't let go of old Serena. So anyway, this is my...
Is that Drake or Manai Stewart you're talking about? Drake. Okay.
Drake, yeah.
Make sure.
My halftime show pitch, okay? How's about this, G Lane? Start off, LL Cool J. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years, I'm going to knock you out. It's all that, and then another couple of LL Cool J songs, something like a phenomenon, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Then Busta Rhymes comes in. Yo, 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 I got you all in check, and so he's in there just busting rhymes, that's as per his name.
Yeah.
And then his join, suddenly he's like, okay, and then Pussycat Dolls are in there. Pussycat Dolls.
Is that for you, or is it just you?
Don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me?
Don't you?
Yeah, exactly. Mitchell Dunshea. And so, oh God, we miss him. And so you go,
Where is
okay,
Mitchell Dunshea?
Pussycat Dolls. Then all of a sudden, they morph into that song they do, Jai Ho, the Indian song.
Jai Ho, yep.
Yeah, with A.R. Rahman. So all of a sudden, you've got international audience going, oh yeah, here we go, and different kind of dancing as well. You're
trying to bring the billion people from India into
totally.
Super Bowl.
Bring them in, and then finish it off with Chapel Roan. The Midwest Princess with Hot to Go. You know that song?
No, give it to me.
HOTTOGO.
Yeah, another one.
You can take me hard to go. And then
that's it.
Yeah.
Well, pitch it.
I just did on X, and I got 4 likes. So,
well, how
not bad by my standards, I think.
Well, we know the Super Bowl halftime is an interesting kind of thing because the artist doesn't get paid. They get paid $0 for it, but all it is a 10-minute ad, and usually what they've got coming up is an album, i.e. Kendrick Lamar has an album coming out in a month's time. Rihanna had the same, I think, so did Usher last year. There's always a reason why they do it,
Yeah.
And I think even 1 year, and one of the artists put in their own money to make the production bigger because they make it back tenfold.
Yeah.
So it's a prime time audience. But it's so crazy that you don't get paid. You go, do you want to perform the Super Bowl? You go to the biggest artist in the world. They're like, yeah, we're not going to pay you. I don't care.
No, they don't, because the ad is just legit. And also, I just reckon all those artists, because I've had combined, like you mentioned, the Snoop Dogg when they had Coldplay, Beyonce, and Neo, what's his name? Bruno Mars, all together. Maybe with Neo? Anyway, they had, they've had multiple artists before, and it works. And obviously, Timberlake and Janet Jackson with the wardrobe malfunction.
And
Timberlake was a real wuss about that.
Yeah.
He bottled out. He should have just said, when they're criticising, he said, I didn't know anything about it. He should have just said, what's the big deal? It's just a nipple.
Yeah, it's just a nip.
Deal with it.
Yeah, the year before, was it some...
The boob.
Who was the dude, the guitarist from some real shit band? Was it Maroon 5? He was topless the whole time with his nips out.
Exactly. There's precedence here at the Super Bowl of topless performers. What does the rounds, though, is that their performance by Creed at a halftime show for a college game, and it's like, oh, let's go there. Ah, yeah. Can you take me higher? And it's epic. I would like Creed at halftime.
Nah, well, Nickelback. They've made a comeback.
Imagine bringing all the maligned artists like Creed, Nickelback, yeah, you're in. You know what I mean? Like even another one, Bryan Adams.
Particularly
Hamilton Boys.
Particularly if it was a Super Bowl of some underdogs, some teams that have battled away and come back from adversity.
Yeah.
And then you had Creed, Nickelback.
Yeah, just the
Bryan
bands
Adams.
where people cringe at, yeah.
Maybe Bryan Adams opposed to Bryan, who needs to make a comeback.
No, but I mean, they have to be bands that people sort of turn their back on and go,
you suck.
You suck, you're cheesy.
Thank you.
Bring them back.
Hey, we're going to take a quick break. Black Caps played overnight.
Cool.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that. So in the build-up to the Champions Trophy, James, this weird one-day competition that's happening between World Cups that hasn't been played for 10 years.
Yeah, it's weird, but we need this trophy, G Lane.
We do.
I'll explain at some point.
It's the only one we've won.
Yes.
Oh, that and the World Test Championship, of course.
Yeah.
But in terms of short form, it's the only one won. So the Black Caps, they beat Pakistan over the weekend, ravishing Rick Ravindra split his head open, headering a ball back to the keeper. And overnight, they beat South Africa.
Did he literally try to head the ball back or something?
Have you not seen that footage? No. Holy moly. A flat six gets hit out to mid-wicket, and he doesn't see it. He holds his hands like this, and it hits him directly between the eyes.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
And ricochets 30 metres back in field and just opens him up.
Oh, God.
Like a UFC injury, we described it. He's okay, though. He's just got a few stitches and no permanent, not a hit. He got past his HIA. He's not got concussion. Luckily, it hit him in the hardest part of his forehead.
Isn't that like, how some animals don't have a self-defense mechanism? That's why the dodo died, they reckon. It's because they just didn't have a self-preservation. Yeah, they got hit by cricket balls in the Indian Ocean.
How come turkeys haven't been made extinct then? Because they're the dumbest birds, and you can catch them. They sleep. And you just grab them and tip them upside down. They sleep on fence posts, and you grab their legs and just hold them upside down.
Well, because they're a succulent, juicy bird that breed easily, so they just lasted forever.
Okay. Anyway, overnight, South Africa got 300 plus. One of their batsmen on debut got 150.
Yeah, I saw that. What a knock.
And then Steady the Ship comes in and knocks up another century. He got 135 not out, chasing the 300 plus score. And we won by 6 wickets comfortably in the 48th over.
And we should mention Devon Conway. Just as I was going to bed, I thought I would watch Conway get his ton.
Yeah.
So I gave him the commentator's curse while I was half asleep.
Right.
And
that's
topless.
on you, is it? That's on
my
you.
My nips out. And then it was on me. He got up for 97. So it was really him.
He fucking loves getting out in the 90s.
Honestly, that's part of the reason is I thought, I wonder if he can do it, because Steady got there first, and I thought, oh no, that's going to make him feel like a little bit more pressure, because you just watch your skipper who came in after you.
Yes.
So Steady's just and when Williamson's in form, it just looks so easy. It must be annoying for everybody around him.
That back foot drive through the covers, the one he does, and he just holds it.
Plays everything so late as well. He's all right up against the stumps. And
which is often his downfall with that inside edge as well.
Yes. But anyway, Conway 97. So that partnership pretty much got them to the...
Yeah, it was almost a 200-run partnership. Yeah. So that puts them into the final, which is getting played this weekend. I think tomorrow Pakistan and South Africa play each other. This is just the Tri-Series warm-up. This is not the Champions Trophy.
But we play the final now, don't we?
Yeah, against either South Africa or whoever wins the next game. And so, I mean, if we take that out, then that's not a bad little run-in because we play Pakistan first in the first of the round robin on the Champions Trophy. So, dare to dream, James McOnie? Do we dare to dream?
Well, I feel like a one-day title is the one title that we can win, even though we've won the Test one before. I don't think that's going to happen in the near future, but I think one day is our best discipline, this team.
Yeah.
You look at that lineup, there's no weaknesses in there. It's unbelievable, the lineup.
Yeah.
Although I did notice that, the South Africans didn't have too much trouble sending old Will O'Rourke to the boundary. They don't mind a bit of pace.
No.
They're like, yeah, we've seen it before, mate.
Yeah.
Sent plenty of you before, and most of them we send away.
Most of them are playing for you.
Yeah. Neil Wagner. Anyway, I think we'll do well at the Champions Trophy, but I just don't want us to mess around with the batting order like last time. I know that Steady wants that number 3 spot, but I don't want Ratchin to open. He scored all his runs, or most of his runs, at number 3 in that World Cup, and then we moved him up to opener for the semi-final, and he shat the bed, and it was pretty unfair on a young player like that when he's like, what are you doing? He's a guy in form.
Yeah.
Just leave him. So it does depend a little bit on the order for me, but totally good enough to win it.
Yeah, and I like the format of the Champions Trophy, even though it's kind of weird. It's 8 teams, 2 pools of 4.
Yeah.
Top 2 from each go through to the semi-final. It's super simple. It's not like the last World Cup where I think there was about 12 teams, 4 different pools. It was total carnage. This one's very simple.
Yeah.
Top 8 teams. So,
and this is ironically a better warm up for a tournament, because we're actually in Pakistan. Tournaments being played there. Remember we got our comeuppance at the T20 World
West
Cup
Indies.
Last year, and our warm up was non-existent. They got roasted for that. That was terrible.
Well, that's because we didn't even make it out of pool play.
I know, but also
Afghanistan beat us.
But the warm up was like pretty much people assembling for school camp. You know what I mean?
In Miami, I think it was.
Let's go to Disneyland. Disney World, sorry.
Okay, is it way too early for some Super Rugby predictions, James McOnie? It kicks off this Friday. We have live and free coverage on iHeartradio and Radio Hauraki. Is this finally the year for Chiefs money?
I'm going to say yes, it is. I'm going to back you
Why?
up. I'm going to tush-push you on this one, G Lane.
Yeah.
I'm right behind you because, they've been there twice to the final. It hurt. It hurt a lot.
Ugh.
Shit, that first one with Razor breakdancing, don't get me started. That was tough. So I think, once, twice, 3 times the mana of being there, doing something that needs to happen just to exercise the demons, because there's no way the Chiefs can go through the season just being happy with amongst the good teams, because they've got an amazing stacked squad. Satiti will come back right near the business end, so we just need to get in that top 6 and cause problems. The issue for me, G Lane, and I don't know how you feel about this, is that the Blues and still the Hurricanes are worryingly good, especially in the forwards.
Yes, that's my only concern is the front row, the Chiefs mana.
Yes.
Looks a little light.
Yeah. It's been a bit of an issue, I think, because you can see you can't nail down those start. Actually, Aiden Ross, to his credit, has probably been in there and he's going off to the Reds. He wants to play for Australia. But, I think there are other type 5s that are stronger than Chiefs mana. That's for sure.
Moana Pacifica with Adi Savia. Will he make a difference? A massive difference? They're saying it's their year. They've moved out to North Harbour, of all places.
Yeah.
I don't get that, but anyway. What's your predictions there?
The Moana Pacifica will be more competitive. Adi is unbelievable. He's probably the sort of, how would you call it, like that spine of the team. You need someone who's a real sort of tactician, and he is really savvy with where, he knows that he wants to be in the right part of the field. He just doesn't want to be, he wants to show the flair where it can actually be a strike and score tries, So he's probably a pragmatist. He's like, okay, to win the game, we need to dominate the set piece, get down there, and then people like myself, Artie, can just run amok. But I do worry about who plays at 10. They've got Jackson Guard and Bishop. They've got Willie Havili. There's just, they need to work out whether they're who's going to be their signal caller there.
Yeah, right. They moved to North Harbour. How do you think that's going to go? It's kind of away from their core, but I don't know what their core fan base is or what they stand for anyway.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, this is the thing. I think they messed up by going Moana and not Tonga and Samoa.
Yeah.
We've talked about that before a lot of times, but I think the issue is they. I mean, Harbour, that stadium will be fine if they actually start. I think Artie will get them bums on seats.
Yeah.
Not like Joseph Sueli'i at the Waratahs. That's going to be another level, right?
Yeah.
They will sell out the stadium because of him, but Artie will get them a bit of love and a bit of support. I'm actually trying to think about who their halfback is because they sort of had Deadlands, yeah, Ennie and Artie, but I think he's gone. And by the way, we cleared that nickname with him.
Okay.
I spoke.
Are you clearing nicknames now? Because that's probably been our downfall a few times actually.
I cleared Jar Jar Binks with Naitoa Hakoi, and I even got him to say, "Misa want to play rugby." on Crowd Goes Wild. I'll send you the footage. Maybe we can just go join the ACC with these people. You got this guy and Jar Jar Binks. Misa want to play rugby.
Have you covered off Severed Peace with Severus or not?
No, I haven't talked to Severed Peace about his nickname.
Okay.
But he's from Hamilton Boys. He knows that nickname sticks. Doesn't really matter what you can do about it.
Severed Peace.
Severed Peace, it stays. Hold on a second. What were we talking about? Moana Pacifica.
Yeah.
It's a good question, G Lane.
Who's halfback?
Should we go up there for a game?
I'd love to go up there for a game.
I think we should, eh?
It's down the road from me, so I will. But another, is it too early to predict? James McOnie, will Rob Penny call a reporter a cunt again this year?
Ideally, he would, because there are plenty of cunts in our industry.
Yeah. I know. And he's got to double down.
He's got to go in there. He's got to, pick a cunt. There's a couple here. There's like, who do you want?
There's cunts of plenty.
Yeah, exactly. So many. So, yeah, please, Rob Penny. Just name and shame. You're likely to be right, okay?
Yeah.
I'd say that,
I reckon all the reporters should turn up for the first press conference, Rob Penny, with T-shirts saying, I'm a cunt. He looked around and goes, oh. You all seem to be cunts. Will Bodie Barrett play first five or fullback? I think this is pretty easy to answer.
I think it's been answered by Patrick Tupulutu on the breakdown last night. Paddy Toops said it was going to be Bodie at fullback, Plummer at first five. But I think the reason for that is because Plummer led them last year and they won the comp. Yep. He's the best goal kicker. So I think Vern's an old school coach who picks his goal kicker first.
Yeah.
And so Plum Dog gets the job.
Yeah. And you probably want to... one of their two best players in the back line on the field. Yes. So it's better to have him at fullback as opposed to on the bench anyway, Bodie. But I can feel it in my plums. He's obviously off into the season anyway as well, so that might have been in the back of his mind as well.
So here's some reasons to get excited about Moana. The halfbacks, actually, they've got Jonathan Taumatene, who is the Moana Samoa halfback. I presume he'll probably be the number one. But then the first fives we mentioned, Willie Havili and Garden Bishop. Garden Bishop, by the way, he's a chunky first five. I mean, I can relate. But I was looking at him at practice. I was going, "Yep, I've been there." Like
big off
sprint,
season. Big off season.
Yeah, big off season. Yeah, and I've been there as well. Solomon Alaimalo, remember him from the Chiefs? He's there, listed as a midfielder. So you could have the bus with Alaimalo, or you've got Fene and Isi as well.
That's quite a sizable centres pairing.
Yeah, it's not bad. I reckon they'll go all right. It's just I haven't seen the forwards yet.
It's a shame they haven't got Tavatavanawai. It's a shame he's down at the Highlanders because I enjoyed watching him play for Moana.
Right. Tavatavanawai. I know, and I've heard that Tavatavanawai might end up at 12 for the Highlanders because he's the Jackal King. He can get the turnovers. I think he led the competition in turnovers. Yeah,
right.
Artie, I'm just trying to think who else he's got as some backup. Who the hell's Alan Craig? Have they got another Palangi in there?
They've got to have a couple.
They always have. Yeah, it's always a Palangi lock.
I always love looking at where the Palangis are in the changing room when they're singing their song to start off with, and they're kind of just like the haka.
Just miming.
Yeah, when you have Ethan de Groot, the back row of the haka.
I've got to say, like, they've brought in terms of props. They've got James Lay, who's pretty bloody good.
Yeah.
He's Manu Samoa and played for the Blues before. But they've brought in 4 new props, so they've obviously identified that as like, oh shit, we need some. And getting big humans, it must be frustrating because when you're a Moana Pacifica coach or talent scout, there's so much talent around. And if you look at every other franchise and their Pacifica props, I mean, Pasilio Tosi and freaking Ofa Tuangafasi, like everyone's got massive Pacifica props, and you'd think that, but it's hard because every squad has 6 of them.
But you're also competing with probably about 15 talent scouts from the NRL.
Exactly.
From an early age, you go, you should play. Mate, come over here, move the family over, play a bit of league.
Play a league.
Play a bit of league.
Here's some money for you.
Sunshine Coast, mate, always sunny.
I always feel, because I live out west, like a bit of an NFL or NRL or Super Rugby scout, because you see some big unit at the supermarket and you go, oh, what sport does he play? And so the other day I saw a big fella, and he was that build, he's 6'5", but he's built like Duplessis Kadifi. Yeah. So he's just broad but massive and ripped to shreds. And because I had a look under his t-shirt, and I just lifted up and had a little
Are you shirt lifting in the supermarket?
Yeah, played on the washboards. Bring. But anyway, I said, oh, what sport do you play? And he says, oh, no, I'm just a personal trainer at City Fitness in New Lynn. I went, okay, cool. Okay. I was going, if I was with the NFL, I could just go, I've got someone.
I got one.
Because the thing is, rugby and rugby league, you need to be able to catch and pass and do all these other things. But NFL, you just need to be able to tush push, baby.
Yeah. Yep. Last prediction, will anyone go to a game in Wellington?
Well, I think the yellow seats will be the winner on the day. I think if they get more than the yellow seats, it's yellow seats versus the people. And if the people can outnumber the yellow seats, we should send some special prize down there.
It's a war against yellow seats.
It is, yeah.
The fantasy Super Rugby is kicked off, and but the players have had the option to opt out of it. And one glaring admission is Caleb Clark.
I know, it's ruined my fantasy team.
Yeah, because I wanted to choose him because he scores a lot of tries.
Well, at Crowd Goes Wild, we were discussing running a black market fantasy and including him as Caleb Parp or something like that, so that he can be. Or Chu Clarker, remember?
Chu Clarker, yeah.
Chu Clarker. And so we thought we could actually do that.
Or Jab of the Butt.
Maybe that's his. We'll call him Jab of the Butt again until he goes back into fantasy.
Yeah, and then we'll change it to his least favourite Star Wars character.
The thing is, I love Caleb Clark, and he's just a wonderful human being. He's got his reasons, but it's quite strange though when pretty much the guy who you'd think would be the best at fantasy has decided not to play. You know, like, is Wemby just going to go, nah, I'm not in the NBA fantasy? It's like, I need you, Wemby.
Before we go to our Yours Pleases, quite a few of them actually, we are a proud partner of Last Man Stands. If you know what that is the it's almost like the Business House Cricket League in New Zealand. It's 20 overs, eight men per team or women per team. And as the title says, Last Man Stands, you can bat on your own at the end. She's all over in a couple of hours. It's a great format, and it's for cricket battlers across New Zealand. We want to provide the ultimate pre-game prize to teams around the country this season. So you just have to register your Last Man Stands team with us, and we'll turn up with a whole lot of refreshing beverages, some Snacker Changies, and ACC merch. All thanks to Export Ultra and Snacker Changi. We've got prizes in Auckland, Wellington, Christchurch, all the leagues. Just text LMS to 3236 and register your Last Man Stands team now.
Yours, please. Brought to you by Leader, home of the lasagna topper.
So 5 of them to get through today. Yours, please.
Yeah, g'day. Haven't listened to Monday's podcast yet, but watching the Super Bowl. Kansas finally scored, and I heard a bit of fucking Darude Sandstorm. G Lane must be hyped. Kansas City comeback, here we go. Records, scripts are in. You already know. Heard it here first. Haven't listened to the podcast today because I honestly didn't think yous were doing one because you don't love us as much as I love you. Anyway, fuck yous, love yous.
Hey, that's unfair. We love you just as much. But yeah, there is an episode yesterday, so just get onto it. And the Kansas City Chiefs, the script wasn't written, they sucked. and they got thrashed.
Yeah.
So, next one, yours, please.
G'day, fuckers, me again. Should probably stop treating this like a live fucking talking thing, 'cause you guys aren't listening. And
We're listening.
Anyway, got to the point in the podcast where you're talking about something other than Mania's radio morning show. Have you guys seen the Philadelphia O-line is average 6'6" and 380 odd pounds, which is an average of 150 kilo. Those are some big fuckers. Well, fuck yeah.
I love how he's cut out fuckers. I know they are some big fuckers, eh?
That's huge, man.
I know. It's so massive. So even the guy in the supermarket can't match that because he's too ripped. He'd have to sort of do another job because those big those mountains are just... I mean, it's weird, though, because remember we had in our heads that to play American football you had to be massive?
Yeah.
And then you watch all those little running backs. I mean, I know Saquon's decent size. He's like Nonu, but some of them are tiny.
Yeah.
And some of the best players were, 80-something kgs, even less sometimes.
But they don't have to get near those.
No, they just
Minor.
run like the wind. But,
Yeah.
it was just an idea that everybody was
Yes.
massive. And it's like, no, there are jobs for little people. In fact, there are generally running backs who are about 5'8". I mean, I met Barry Sanders, who was my goat for the Detroit Lions, and he's a wee man.
A wee man.
He's a wee man.
Okay, next one, yours, please. Hopefully it's not the same guy.
Yeah, g'day fellas. The reason why the Champions Trophy exists is so India and Pakistan can play each other once or twice a year, basically. Top up the ICC coffers a little bit, But they're making them, go to fucking Dubai. Like, India's just based themselves in Dubai. Said, fuck, we're not going to Pakistan. So we're going to go to fucking Dubai and play them in pool play. And so does Pakistan. And if India make the final's in fucking Dubai. So I just hope the Indians lose because of that.
I tend to agree. I hope they do lose because of that, because they just dictate terms. They say, we're not going to Pakistan.
I know, and it would force, and this is what is highly annoying, the final to be played in Dubai, which is pointless. If you're going to host wouldn't it be cool, though, if they made the final and they said, okay, it's your tournament, we're going to play ball.
Yeah.
Just, and this is the whole thing. They're going at security concerns and all this kind of stuff. I mean, to be honest, I think the people of Pakistan just would love to see
Cricket.
the game happen.
There is that documentary on Netflix. I don't know if you've watched it yet, around the great India-Pakistan. I'm only one episode in.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about. Unfortunate, though, because what happens every time is they play a series like back in the kind of 90s, and then they'd go to war for a couple of years, and then they'd play each other, and then they'd go to war again.
I find that India, now that they're good, because when I was growing up, Pakistan were way, way better.
Yeah.
Considerably better.
That's because you had the
I know.
Wasim Akrams.
I know why, but I'm saying they were way better. So why? We all know why. They just had better players. All those guys had Wasim Waqar, Javed Miandad, buddy, everybody. Akhtar, Shoaib Akhtar coming through. Old Abdul Qadir. Anyway, now India are good. They're the ones throwing their weight around. It seems a bit kind of like, oh, we're good now, so now we're going to sort of decide we're going to take our bat and ball and go home.
That does suck that, like you said, if they make the final, it's in Dubai.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So that's what that's sort of slightly annoying. It's like, suddenly you're a good team, so you flex. Like, I think Indian fans forget how pedestrian they were for a long, long time.
Even if India was shit, they still flex.
Yeah.
Because they've got all the money.
Yeah.
So,
we beat them 3-0 in
correct.
a test series. So.
And then they came to Australia and got thrashed as well, but they're still flexing.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, couple more. Yours, please.
G'day team, Andrew from Napes here. Just finished watching the Black Caps playing South Africa in the Tri Series, warming up to the Champions League, where we bowled a muscular 15 wides. What about if we get those 15 deliveries taken off our innings and we get to face them and only have 47.3 as an incentive to keep the ball straight?
What's he suggesting?
Oh, I think he's suggesting, I don't know if it works with wides, because wides you can often cash in on wides as loose deliveries. And I think if no balls potentially, or bounces or whatever, I think what he's saying is if you bowl, say 10 no balls if you bowl first, bowl 10 no balls, then in your innings you face 10 less balls as punishment.
Ah, right.
So instead you only face
deduction.
Yeah, 48.1 overs.
Yeah. I was thinking it's interesting that he thinks like that along those lines. I also think there needs to be ways of speeding that up or more punishment for, just to keep the game moving.
Well, the slow overrate stuff. I mean, look at England; they just ignore it now.
They ignore it. Yeah, the slow overrate doesn't work.
Fine us our match fee. I don't care.
But you can't. Yeah, you got to find them with runs and all that sort of stuff. And I think bonus runs are good as well. Like there should be some kind of thing. It's quite tricky though, because if someone hits the ball out of the ground and you lose it, then that goes on your.
Or if Mark Richardson cramps up and is screaming and yelling at the popping crease.
Yeah, it's right.
For 5 minutes.
And someone needs to come out.
Yeah.
It's always hard to decide when the timer should go on. It's like they do the timer in for rugby, the conversion thing.
Yeah.
I'm 100% sure the home side.
Yeah, who's in charge of this the timer?
Puts it on, and suddenly the visiting kicker's going, oh shit.
Because we saw...
Where's the tea? And they're hiding it like, sucker. It's down my pants.
Well, because at one stage, I saw a different timer on the TV that I saw at the stadium clock, on the stadium screen. I was like, well, is there just some muppet up there?
I started it. When he got the intercept, I started the clock. I knew he was going to score. So you've got 2 seconds to make a conversion, you prick.
It seems like that. I don't know. It must sit with the third umpire. But anyway, the third match official. I don't know. Who cares? Okay, last one. Yours, please.
G'day, lads. I'm just sitting at the ferry in Wellington at 1 o'clock in the morning, but I thought I'd weigh in on the
ferry
poop cleaner at the pool in Palmerston North.
Oh, yeah.
My brother worked at that pool last summer. That man washing his anus is the least of your worries. Toxic amounts of chlorine are probably higher up your list because, they douse it fairly liberally. But,
Well, there you go, waiting for the ferry. Hopefully that ferry was going into Islander. But we discussed yesterday Jame McOnie, the gentleman who made headlines of getting a cake of soap out in the kids' pool in Palmerston North and giving himself a good old clean. And there's one particular photo where he's reached around the back and he's giving the Rusty Sheriff's badge a good old clean.
Oh, no.
And he's all lathered up and he's just knee-deep in this kid's pool.
Who is he?
It's a public pool. Don't know, just some dude. Someone obviously didn't tell him about the showers, but there you go. Apparently the least thing you got to worry about at Palmerston North pools is some dude washing himself.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's rough. I was trying to think of, was it Mushtaq Ahmed, whether he was a good bowler. He was pretty good.
He was pretty good, Mushtaq Ahmed. He was tricky. He was tricky. Particularly in Pakistan.
Yeah. So they had a bloody good team,
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks for joining us, Jame McOnie. We are back with commentary. Chiefs Mana versus the Blues this Saturday night. On Friday night as well, we have, I think is it the Crusaders? Hurricanes. So big match for the Crusaders to start their season the way they want to maybe continue.
Yeah.
And maybe the pressure on the Hurricanes as well. So
yep, Valentine's Day, big day for me, of course, G Lane.
Yep.
It's traditionally when I walk out into the sea and hope that the tide takes me. Anyway.
Okay, I'll buy you a flower.
Oh, thanks, mate.
You've been listening to the ACC's Agenda podcast, brought to you by Export Ultra. For more episodes, like and follow on iHeartradio or wherever you get your podcasts.